Okay, beautiful. So to start, I'm going to start with the Halo Cleanser by Nini Organics, mainly because I'm addicted to how lovely it smells. And it's passion fruit and blue tansy. You can take 2 deep breaths for me. Perfect. And just starting by spreading my oil from the neck all the way up. And working either side of the jaw. And then either side of the lips. Big circles over the cheeks. And then scooping up to the forehead. And working around the nose. And then across the forehead. And then using my fingertips just to circle and really work the product into the skin. Really nice when using an oil cleanser just to spend a bit of time massaging it in so it can work fully. And really helpful for that first cleanse, just lifting off the SPF. Beautiful, and then we're going to take our first set of mitts and remove. I'm going to hover the warmth over your face. And then landing on your neck and lifting up. And working again either side of the jaw. And then above the lip. Down the bridge of the nose. And then across the forehead. And that warmth is so comforting, especially as we go into autumn and winter. And holding on the temples for a moment before we start our second cleanse. I'm going to use our cleansing milk. And again, gliding along the jaw, up the neck, and coming down the bridge of the nose, and working into all the nooks and crannies, and then across the forehead. And working down the nose, and creating nice big circles. And using a fanning motion over the neck. And again, flats of my hands over the forehead. And circling background. And little circles on the temples. And over the third eye. And just grounding us in the start of our treatment. And again, removing our second set of mitts. And just hovering again with that warmth. And working methodically up the face, starting at the collarbone underneath the jaw, over the jaw, above the top lip and down and over the cheeks, and lifting up the nose and over the forehead, and holding on the temples before releasing. And just making sure I've removed all of that product. And we're going to apply our mask. And this is a cooling gel mask. I'm going to start with long strokes along the jawline and slowly work our way up the face. And working up the nose and along the top of the bridge, and then out and across the forehead. And then repeating the same on the other side. And working up the nose, along the bridge, out across the forehead. And then doing one lap, 2 laps, and then figure of 8 around the eyes. Circling on the 3rd eye, and then tracing off the bridge of the nose. And perfect. Taking oil and starting in the center of the chest, and working out to the shoulders and then back into center. And just letting our hands glide, their natural pressure. And just spreading the oil where we're going to be working, and then pulling all the way to behind the ears. One hand returns and then the other, and creating a really nice stretch. And then just with fingertips fanning from one side all the way across. And just slowly looking to build our pressure. Work into the pectoral muscles. Working with my knuckles. And still quite a gentle, nothing too strong. And lifting all the way up to behind the ears. And just starting to create small circles, working up into the hairline. And circling into the scalp. And here using a slightly firmer pressure. And coming back and working one hand from the shoulder to the other side, creating a really nice wave. And just waking up our lymphatic system. And then with that same wave, using both fingers either side of the collarbone, just gently pumping it out towards the shoulders. And just clearing all of those lymphatic pathways for us to drain down into. Gentle wave over the center of the chest. And then taking that same wave to the armpits. And then behind the ears. Under the jaw. And below the chin. And then reversing that same process. So under the jaw, behind the ears, over the armpits, and over the chest. And we're going to repeat that sequence one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 4, 3, 2, and 1, and 4, 3, 2, and 1. And gentle brushing out towards the shoulders. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And pushing down just to create a little bit more space. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we're going to gently lift and turn the head, just tipping to the left. And then just using this space. And just to push the ear away from the shoulder. And then following with 1,000 hands, so one hand leads into the other. It creates a really nice flow. And then working with my thumb into any areas that might be tense. And gliding up and then back down. And then rotating and using my knuckles just like I did over the top of the chest. Just gently building that pressure. And then one of my favourite moves, which is just circling behind the ear. Starting at the base and then working all the way up to the top. And then when I get to the top, draining down the front of the neck. And then following with both hands. And then taking this opportunity while we're on the side just to work further into the scalp. Starting at the occipital and just circling up. Applying quite a deep, firm pressure here. You can use both hands at the same time. You can use combing fingers to travel. And then repeating that same motion, but just on the hairline. And using split fingers, we're going to do gentle pump either side of the ear. And then we're going to repeat that sequence on the other side. And we're going to gently lift back into center. And one grounding move from the center of the chest all the way out to behind the ears. And then tipping over to the right. And again, with those hands, one flows into the other. Working from the shoulder all the way to behind the ear. And create a nice stretch. And just opening up that space. And using my thumb to work in, circle. And draining all the way down. Rotating my hand and using my knuckles. And just working deeper into this area. And then again, circling behind the ear. And working all the way up. And just working in that area between the ear and where the hairline starts. Draining down with a flat hand. And then coming back to repeat. And then taking my hands and shampooing again. Starting at the occipital, at the base of the skull. Applying that nice deep firm pressure. And using both hands. And then combing through the hairline. And then using that same motion again. And perfect, using the shoulders to rotate my hands inwards, pushing everything up into the center, and then back out. I'm going to lift and lower. And then again, coming to work into the scalp, circling behind the ears. Gentle pumping motion. And then pressure points down the center of the parting. Beautiful. I'm going to remove our mask and then we're going to start with our facial massage. Just taking a little bit more oil and applying that all over the face. So starting at the temples, again gliding up the neck. And all over the face. Taking any excess over the chest and around the back of trapezius, finishing behind the ears. And we're going to start lifting from the collarbone up onto the face. A really nice stretch of the neck. And just using as much surface area of my hands as I can. And just trying to find a really nice stretch. And opening up an area that can often be neglected. We spend so much time looking down at our phones or reading. And the upward stretch can feel really nice. And also the muscles in our neck can be really affected by clenching our jaws. So it's super important that we warm this area up as well before doing our intraoral. A nice big stretch all the way up now, up to temples. So from collarbone all the way up to the forehead. And now working out along the jaw. And just gently cradling it, working one side and then the other. As soon as one move finishes, the next begins. And gliding from one side to the other. And then coming into prayer and working outwards. And just that gentle compression on the way back. Just slowly warming up all these muscles. And then returning to our gliding. And it's just trying to find a rhythm. And then focusing my circles in over the masseter, so starting with my wrist all the way up to fingertips. And then returning. Wrists all the way up to fingertips. And then that circle slowly getting smaller, more precise. Until it's just fingertips over the masseter. Applying a little bit of pressure here. and then transferring into knuckles. And just working each knuckle at a time so they all move as they're in separate entity. And then back into my rotations. And sandwiching the jaw between my thumb and the rest of my fingers, and then just gliding down. And working into mentalis, creating a nice release, and then draining. And you can repeat that same sequence, so working into mentalis, and then draining out towards the ears. And working either side of the lips, stretching the rosarius all the way out towards the ears. So just slowly, systematically making our way up the face. And taking that same movement and tilting my hands on a diagonal, so we're now working across the zygomatic arch. Following zygomatic minor and major, all the way up to temples. And while I'm at the temples, working out before scooping all the way around and opening the face. And like a nice downwards, upwards pressure with this movement. And then going back into my more detailed work, lifting the levators of the upper lip. And breaking that up with some lovely affleurage. Opening the face. Working out over the nasal labial folds. And then opening the face. And create a nice figure of 8. Scoop from one side to the other. And working around both eyes and then circling on the third eye. And then rejoining to open and close. My fingers around the eyes. And creating that opening effect. And helping everything to drain. Working up over frontalis and stretching into the center and then back out again. And stretching back in, Really elongating these movements, so stretching all the way into the hairline. Perfect. Working with flat hands out towards the ears and then up towards myself. Really stretching the whole of frontalis. And then prayer position, pushing all the way down and draining onto the chest. And then repeating that, so starting in the center, all the way up to the forehead, opening up and draining down. And just applying a tiny bit more oil. And starting at the temples. And then we're going to start working on one side and then the other. And again with that same motion from shoulder, but this time in front of the ear, all the way up to the forehead. And working out along the jaw. And really ensuring this area is nice and warm for when we start doing the intraoral work. And paddling with 2 fingers. And then using a full fan. Creating a push and pull over the masseter. And then draining out. And the same paddling can work to stretch out towards the ears. And also underneath the cheekbone. And stretching all the way from the chin up to the temples. And working out over the forehead. And working around the eye. And then finishing with big sweeps all the way up. Gently draining down. I'm going to the same on the other side. Again, working from the shoulder all the way up to temples. And then out and along the jaw. And doing 2 fingers paddling up towards myself. And then slowly increasing to a full fan. And here we're just trying to stimulate the muscles. We're bringing that blood flow to the surface. And then coming to work deeper into the masseter. Holding, stretching and releasing. And working out either side of the lips. And you can use that same paddling just to stretch in a different direction. And then coming to scoop underneath the cheekbone. And stretching with that flat hand. And then including those circles around the eye. And before we're going to stretch up over the forehead and into the hairline. And then draining down the neck with a flat hand. And create a nice cross-handed stretch. And one last time. Before we come back into center. I'm going to lift and lower. And then come into a lovely head hold here. And just hooking my fingertips gently up into the occipital and just slowly rocking back and forth. Just the light pressure through my hands into the center part. And then one more time. And just every time I rock in, applying that pressure and then releasing. And applying a little bit more oil before we start intraoral work. Okay, amazing. Taylor, if you could open your mouth for me. Lovely, and then close. I'm going to keep your jaw as relaxed as possible. And I'm just going to start by doing big circles. a medium circle, and a small circle. I'm just warming up all the muscles here. And just getting a feel of how your jaw's feeling today. And do 1, 2, and 3. And one big circle, one medium circle, and one smaller circle. Perfect. I'm going to glide around to the left and just gently tilt your head to the side. Beautiful. And then I'm lifting up off the bottom jaw. 1, 2, and 3. And just gently pulling from the ear to the corner of the lip. And now coming down off the top of the cheekbone towards your toes. 1, 2, and 3. Lifting up. And just stretching that rosarius muscle. And then gliding round and up from the jaw. And creating a really nice stretch here with both hands. And then back to circling up. And these are muscles really hard to work properly without doing the intraoral work. And it's nice to spend a little bit of time, and the release comes through the repetitions. And using my left hand to anchor as I gently pull. And then again circling down towards the toes. And gently pulling and just using a slight wiggle. And I'm going to glide all the way over to the other side and gently tilt your head to the left. Perfect. And then again lifting up towards myself and then pulling from the ear all the way to the lip. And coming down off the top of the jaw. And coming down off the top of the cheekbone, from the ear all the way to the lip. And using both hands to create a deeper stretch. And releasing where that tension typically felt most. And gentle wiggle all the way to the lip and starting again. And circling 1, 2, and 3. And then pulling 1, 2, and 3. And then 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. And using my guiding hand just to slowly increase the pressure. And creating that counter stretch. And pulling all the way to the lip. And coming down from the cheekbone. And then big circles, the whole of my hand. And placing my right hand back in, I'm going to glide around and slowly come back up to center. And then I'm lifting with both hands now. And creating big circles. And just slowly melting away that tension. And creating that nice lift all the way up. Always aiming to just create a little bit more space. Gentle wiggle to finish. Perfect, and then going straight back into our massage. Just to ease away any leftover tension. And then we're going to go straight into our gua sha. I'm just going to tilt the head ever so slightly. And taking gua sha and working from behind the ear all the way down the neck. And we're going to drain 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then working underneath the jaw. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then lifting up. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And gliding along. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And scooping up underneath the cheekbone. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Underneath the eye. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And working up over the forehead. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then working out. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then repeating all of those again, lifting up 1, 2, 3, and 4. And working underneath the eye, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And underneath the cheekbone, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And taking the largest curve, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And lifting up, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Underneath the jaw, 1, 2, 3, and 4, and down the neck, 1, and 2, 3, 4. And we're going to gently turn over to the other side. And repeat the same. Starting along the neck down to the shoulder, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then along the jaw, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And lifting up, 1, 2, 3, 4. And scooping all the way up, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And working underneath the cheekbone, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And under the eye, 1, 2, 3, 4. And lifting up, 1, 2, 3, 4. And working out from center, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then working all the way back down, 1, 2, 3, 4. And under the eye, 1, 2, 3, 4. And scooping underneath the cheekbone, 1, 2, 3, and 4. And using the biggest curve, 1, 2, 3, 4, and lifting up. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then out and along. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then draining down the neck. 1, 2, 3, 4. Beautiful. And come back to center. Finish with our draining from the chin all the way up to temples, opening the face, and then draining all the way down to the chest. And working all the way up to drain all the way down. And I love this sequence because it just feels so grounding. It feels like it includes everywhere where we've been working. Just a really nice way to end or start treatment. And finishing by holding the head. And we're going to take our last set of mitts to remove this oil. And hovering that warmth over the face and landing on the chest. And working up the neck. Making sure no oils left on the skin. I'm going to use our hydrating mist. And then our night cream to finish. Beautiful, and that's us all done for today, Taylor.
Thank you so much.
No worries, anytime.